So welcome to the Yaneli and Delina show. We are so excited to have you. This is Yaneli. I didn't give a proper introduction yet.
Hey everybody, what's up?
Yeah, so she is an amazingly talented self-taught financial guru. And so she has her own YouTube channel, which is really amazing. And I just love that, I love that she's a young person teaching about financial things, because I think a lot of times we see that from the perspective of people who are super old or
much older.
What's the name of that guy? Oh, I should know
Ramsey.
this.
You know
Okay,
Ramsey.
okay. Or wait, no, I was thinking about the other guy. Yeah,
Okay.
Susie Orman. Yeah. But Susie started in her 30s.
She did.
She
So
really
she
started
didn't blow up until she was a little older.
Yeah.
When she got her show, when she was connected with Oprah. You know, the success came later.
That's true.
Yeah.
So normally we see that from that perspective, and I feel like just being young, women and men that are
women of color
that are interested in finding out more about finances.
Yeah.
You know, I just lit up when I was talking to you about it. I was like, dude, we need to do this for creative people.
Yes.
Okay, so just really quickly, Yaneli, can you tell us why we're gonna do quick intro? I know you guys some of you already know who I am, so we're gonna talk about her, and then we'll talk about me, and then we'll kind of dive in.
Okay.
So first, tell me a little bit about why you got into this. What was the thing? What made you get really excited about this?
So actually, the excitement came later.
Okay.
So, and we chatted. So I'll summarize what I told Delina before was I actually got into this through a hot mess of a mistake. A couple of hot messes of mistakes, actually, a series of them. So in college, I racked up a lot of credit card debt. Almost $20,000.
That's insane.
It was insane. 4 different credit cards that I had, and I was paying for textbooks and food and clothes and everything that I needed to finance my college lifestyle.
Okay, so this wasn't you weren't just going to H&M.
No, girl.
Okay,
Everything.
this was
all the restaurants,
got you. Okay.
clothes. Because when you go to school, we go to a predominantly white institution. You're not competing, but you're
she went to a
trying
good school too, y'all.
I got a scholarship, y'all.
Hey,
so my kids out there getting scholarships.
Wait, you went to Brown.
I went to Brown.
Yeah, she went
so
to Brown.
I got a full scholarship to Brown. So once I got there. Y'all can just imagine, rich people's kids go to Brown. So I'm like, okay, this is what we do. We go to the movies twice a week. We go to Chipotle every day.
And you're like, okay,
this is what we do. Okay, great. We buy a new dress every weekend for a party. Great, I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah.
And so that was terrible, right? So I had credit card debt from that. Mm-hmm. A couple years out of college, a friend of mine, I had a really good close friend. Her little sister couldn't go back to Penn State. Penn State was charging her a ton of money, and
Penn State's really expensive. Isn't that one of the most expensive schools in the country?
Super expensive, especially if you come from out of state. Because if you go and you're from Pennsylvania,
it's not that bad,
right? So she came from New York City, went to Pennsylvania, could not, go back because of the financial situation, which is real for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And so she asked me to co-sign a student loan for her with Sally Mae.
You still belong here. She said, oh, she went to Brown. Hold on, I don't belong here.
Stop.
No, listen, wait.
Stop.
Come back.
Let me tell you why you belong. Because when I got to Brown, I was like, I don't belong here. So we right here. But so it was rough because I felt like, I came back home. Here's this friend. Yeah. I grew up in the hood. It's not, we don't have a ton of money. People are not, don't have great credit and not well resourced. So I felt like I had to. I was like, let me help her, especially since I got a full ride. I don't have a lot of student loan debt. So I co-signed this loan. I actually, to be honest, I didn't truly, completely understand what I was signing.
Hold on, did y'all hear that? She co-signed a loan for somebody else. How old were you?
21 or 22.
Whose mama let you do that?
Her mom had terrible credit and couldn't get approved for a student plus loan or anything. My mom don't even speak English, so she didn't even know what I was signing. Okay, my mom's an immigrant. She was like, "Oh, that's so nice. You're gonna help her. Okay, good."
She's like, "You're so good."
Right? She's like, "I raised you right. You help other people." I was like, "Okay, I did not read these terms and conditions in font 3,
right?
Tiny, so I didn't realize I was equally responsible.
Right?
I just didn't get that. So, girl. Co-signed this loan. It was $13,000 on top of my $20,000 of credit card debt. My credit was terrible, and then I wanted to get an apartment, and was like, "What do you mean I can't get an apartment because my score is bad? What is a score? I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a good
I got
girl.
the money right here.
Right? I'm like, I saved up. I have the down payment. What's the problem?" It's like, girl, your credit report. And so that was all those mistakes together was how I just discovered that this stuff is important.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a lot of mistakes.
So now at this point, when you realized that there was a problem, how did you know how to fix it? or that you needed to fix
girl,
it?
I just
you need to get an apartment.
I needed an apartment.
You were like, girl,
the first thing was, how do I increase my score so I can get an apartment? That was the first thing.
That was the first goal.
So that made me Google how to increase your credit score. Like, I literally just Googled it. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I found out about the 5 credit factors. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, like, how come we don't learn about this? Like, no one that I knew in my family, my friends, no one knew about 5 credit factors. No one knew how a credit score is made up. Mm-hmm. You just knew a good one was good and a bad one was bad. Like, that's all you knew.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And one time, and it was easy to understand too, because when you're in college, I had just got out of college. Mm-hmm. When you're in college, you're constantly getting like a syllabus that tells you, like in class, 30% is attendance, 20% is your grade. So I applied that. I was like, oh, like that made sense to me, because if I didn't show up to class, that's 30% of my grade. I know what that means.
Yeah.
Show up to class.
Attendance. I already got a 30%.
Right, like I'm
already at 30, y'all.
And if you miss class, you're already at a C. So,
exactly.
You know,
That too.
You go either way.
That's too.
So that's when I was like, okay, I get this. Like, I get this pie. Like, I get how that works. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize like that you could increase like each separate category until I started researching them individually. So that's when I found out about utilization and like all the different things, like age of credit, like all those things really matter. And so, I started just like slowly picking at them. I was like, what can I do here? What can I do there? What little things can I do to increase these little scores so that the total score increases? Yeah. So that I did that, and my score went up like 100 points just by paying down some of the credit cards.
Nice.
And then I was able to get approved with two roommates. Okay. You know, Diane, like my old roommates.
Yeah.
So we got an apartment.
So the way we know each other actually is her old roommate is one of my sister's like best friends. Mm-hmm. Like best friends. So that's how we met.
Yeah, you actually stayed at our apartment.
I did. In New York. First time I came to New York.
And I remember back then, Delina was like, I'm going to be a famous makeup artist. I was like, oh, that's amazing, girl. Your makeup is beautiful. I bet you can do it.
That's cool.
Look at you now, girl. Look at you now.
Thank you. We're going to answer a few questions as we go, but we're going to also try and stay to like some of what we're talking about just so we stay focused. But any advice for credit repair? You know those people that claim to increase your score for a fee. What is your input? Okay, yeah, we're definitely like right about to talk about that.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, so feel free to like kind of ask things, and if we don't get to them right when you say them, I'm definitely going to scroll through and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we'll come back to them at the end so you guys can get those questions answered.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely going to come up.
Yeah. But, so you knew that's how you were going to get your credit score down. Okay, so, but I'm still not clear. Okay, so you said there's 5 ways. Mm-hmm.
There's 5 like pieces of your grade.
Okay, that make up your credit.
Each piece has to be really good so that the total grade is good.
Okay,
but
what are the pieces?
So the biggest piece is payment history.
Okay.
That means every single payment that you make has to be on time.
Okay.
So
what about a minimum payment?
That is the payment that has to be submitted on time.
Okay.
So let's say your credit card, you spent $500, but the minimum payment on the statement says $25. You just have to send $25 by the due date to be in good standing with this category.
Okay.
And I luckily I did do that. Like I was nerdy, so I was like, oh, I don't want to be late on due dates.
Okay, so you were always on time.
So I always, even if
you had that bit, you had 30%.
Exactly. Okay. Even if I couldn't afford more than the minimum, I just always sent the minimum.
Okay.
25 here, whatever every month. So that part was okay.
Okay.
But so that part was good. If you miss a payment, if you have a late payment, if you forget, or if you get in the habit of making late payments, then that piece, that 35% is just like immediately you start taking a hit to that category, because even 2 or 3 late payments and latenesses, like it takes like 2 years to like start to wipe them off your credit report.
Snap. Okay.
So that's what people don't know. So they think, oh, once I pay it back, it'll be fine. It's not like a paper, like once you submit it, you just get 10 points off for submitting it late. No. If the professor doesn't accept it at all, think of that as this analogy. Like it's gonna take forever.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
Okay, so that's number 1. What's number 2?
So number 2 is utilization. So a lot of people call it debt to limit, or like credit to limit ratio. Mm-hmm. So basically it means how much out of the total credit limit you have available you're spending at the current moment. Mm-hmm. So if your credit card has $2,000 on it, you shouldn't be spending more than $200, because you always want to stay under or within a tenth of what's available to you.
Right.
That's the one that messed me up, because my first credit card was $1,500 and I spent $1,500. Like I bought my textbooks, my cards.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
because they don't know.
Right, and they think, oh, if I spend a lot and then pay it, it'll show them that I can.
Right,
and it's just like it's kind of
no, that's not how it works. Okay, so you need to spend how much?
10%.
10% of your credit card.
In order to get an A+ to be excellent, it has to be 10%.
So if you have $1,000 limit, you need to only spend $100.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's number 2. What's number 3?
Yep. And then number 3 is age of credit. So how many years have you established credit for? So if you started when you were 18, as soon as you could, your age of credit is going to be really great when you're 28 or you're 27. But if you start when you're 27 or 28, you're just starting it, so you got 0 months or 6 months or a year, and your age of credit is going to be really low. And that's only worth like about 15% of your score.
Okay.
But it still is an area where older people are age, like you're starting in your 30s. You start now, and it's just kind of too late. Like now you just have to wait to establish 10 years of credit, which means you're not going to have good credit till you're in your 40s. And if you're trying to get a house before you turn 40, like you could easily see how that's going to affect you negatively. So,
y'all see why I like her? Because of her energy. I'm like,
yes! Like so animated.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what's number 4?
So the number 4 is how many new accounts you apply for. So applying for new credit, and a lot of people don't know this, actually hurts your score. So when I wanted a new credit card and I wasn't getting approved because my score was bad, I just started applying for different cards. I was like, oh, they don't want me? Great, I'm going to just go to Amex. Oh, Amex don't want me? Well, I'm going to just go to Chase. One of these banks is going to give me a credit card.
Okay.
And every time I applied, it was hurting my score more and more and more. So you don't want to apply for more than 2 accounts a year. 2 total
No more
accounts.
than 2 cards a year.
2 cards a year. And actually 2 total accounts. So if you take a personal loan, that counts as an account, and now you can only apply for another credit card. If you get an auto loan or a mortgage, that counts as an account. So now you only want to do one other thing.
Wait, repeat that?
A mortgage, a personal loan, a credit card, all of these count. Or auto loan, all of these count.
No more than 2 inquiries per year, or no more than 2?
No more than 2 hard inquiries per year.
Okay.
So I would say one about every 6 months.
Okay.
That way, it takes a year for it to not affect your score. So in 6 months, you apply for one. By the next 6 months, so one of them will wipe off. You can apply for another thing. So like just every 6 months or so.
Okay. 5th one.
And then the 5th one is the mix of credit that you have.
Okay.
So that means like, do you have a student loan, a mortgage, a credit card, or do you just have only a credit card? Because it's kind of like when you're applying to college, they want you to be a well-diversified candidate. Like, they want you to be, they want you to have
extracurriculars.
Right. They want you to have soccer, trumpet player on your resume. They want you to be math athlete. They want you to be like, and they want you to take all the AP classes. Like, they want you to do everything,
they
right?
want you to be mom.
You gotta be a good writer. You gotta be like, So it's the same thing. They want to see that you can do all the different types of credit that there are. They don't want to see that you just can only do a credit card and that you've never tried a different type of credit. So, and that doesn't mean go open a student loan, an auto loan, get a mortgage, get a credit card. Like, no, get it when you need it.
Okay.
But by the time that you're in your 30s or 40s, you will have gotten through those stages of your life where you got a car, a credit card, where you're applying, So those things will happen naturally. Don't try to just open them all at once, because this piece is only 10% of your score, so it's not worth it to go try to diversify for 10%. It's not worth it.
Perfect. Okay, great. So those are the 5. Okay, so payments on time. You have to pay everything on time. Utilization, so how much you're using of your credit card, so only 10%. Mm-hmm. Length of credit, so like how long you've had a credit.
And that's the average. So if you open a new card, you're at 0 for that card. And even if you have a card that's 10 years old, it's going to be 10 years plus 0 years is 10 years divided by 2. So even though your oldest card is 10 years, your age is 5. So it's an average. That's why every time you apply for a new card, it hurts your score a little, because it's an inquiry and it lowers your age of credit. So you start to see how one move can hit different,
Snap, I didn't even know that. Girl, you over here dropping gems.
Gems. But the thing is, it can be complicated, which is why people kind of, but if you start to learn at least the important things, get those down.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so now you got your credit card paid down, and which is important.
Very important. Once my utilization went down, my score went up like 100 points, and I was like, yes, now I can get an apartment.
Amazing.
And then my credit was like good.
Yeah. So how did this turn into like a passion? Like, what do you think really fueled that?
Yeah, so once I started to see, basically because I started saving like crazy in order to pay off the credit card debt, because I knew that was going to make my score go up. And so I stopped going to brunch. I stopped getting my mani-pedi. I stopped going to the Korean. I stopped doing my tits.
Hair done as I shave myself right now. I definitely went to go see Leah. Hey, girl. She's in here.
Hey. Don't worry. She's going to stay, because she's going to still come to you.
I'm going to still come, girl. Don't worry. This is part of, it's important for me.
Hey, it's for your brand. It's for your work. For me, what I need to look fly for as a teacher. As a classroom teacher, I was getting paint on me, was getting pen marks on my clothes. Like, I didn't need to be super fabulous, but I just was doing it because it was like, if you need it for work, great. If not, prioritize. So for me, I had to cut out a lot of stuff I was doing, cut out the brunch, cut out the happy hours, cut out the
that's important too.
And all So once I actually saved money and paid off the cards, I started getting into the habit of saving. And I was like, so now I have this extra money. but it's just sitting in the savings account, and every time I check it, it's like the same amount. Isn't a savings account supposed to make it
Does
grow?
anybody, yeah, right? You know, give us a heart if like your savings account still
Like-
the same as like last 2
Like,
months.
literally,
real talk.
Literally, like at 6 months, I'm like, I gotta have at least $1 more. No, like I'm just like,
Right.
how is it literally sitting still while inflation is increasing, but my savings account
It's
is not
the
like.
same.
I was like, I know a little bit about the world. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're like, this needs to go up.
It's supposed to be increasing.
Yeah.
So that's when I started looking it up. Like, okay, you know, savings accounts, how do they work? Why
Yeah.
isn't that increasing? And I realized, and I learned that savings accounts are the lowest interest offered of any financial product.
Okay, so this is when you were like, hold up, I gotta flip it,
Right.
twist it,
Right.
reverse it, back it
And
up.
everybody in the hood teaches you put money in your savings account, save your money, and it's just like that's why we never have money because it doesn't grow. It's like it's literally not growing. It's like why you have plant a bunch of seeds and they never grow. Why are you gonna keep those pots in your house? They're not growing.
It's
I
so
was,
true.
Girl, I was crazy. I was like, all right, this is not working. So
You were like, wait, what?
that's when I realized, oh, investing is where it's at because
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Somebody said I saved 6K since the beginning of this year.
yes. If you
Good
keep
job.
that up, you'll have 12K by the end of the year. That
Yes.
is amazing.
I love that you
I
just
have
did
an
that
extra
real
12K.
quick. She was like, yeah. She was
I'm
like,
like,
and we're
what is
halfway
it?
way.
I'm like,
We're halfway in the year, so you got another 6K to save.
I
love that.
No, praise, but also keep at it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, well done. Hey,
It's amazing.
well done.
It's
man.
amazing.
That's really cool.
But yeah, and like that, like when I saved my first 5K,
Yeah.
I was hyped. I didn't know anybody had $5,000 in the bank. I'm from Bushwick. I'm from Brooklyn. Like you don't have $1,000 extra just in your bank account. Like at least
Right.
in my family we didn't. I didn't know anyone that did.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, now I need to learn about investing because obviously that's how this is going to grow.
Right.
And so then I started reading about it, and then that like made me so passionate because I was like, they don't teach this to us. I started to feel like this is an injustice. That
It is an injustice. It is an injustice.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's kind of how I felt too when you spoke to me, and I was like, hold up, like, I mean, I didn't know a lot of the stuff you were talking about, and then I was like, wait, I can't be alone. Like,
No,
I was like, I can't
absolutely
be.
not.
So
Absolutely
so
not.
that's kind of why I wanted to do this, because I feel like didn't realize savings account with the lowest interest. I'm so glad that you I'm so glad that you're
It's
watching
less than
too.
1%, y'all. Less than 1%.
Yeah, so it's like, so did you say you're from Brooklyn? Glad I stayed on the line. Yeah, she's from Brooklyn. She's from
Bushwick,
Brooklyn.
back in the day, pre-gentrified Bushwick.
Yeah, exactly. So I think yeah, right, pre-gentrified Brooklyn, from the real Brooklyn.
From the 90s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like when you talked to me about this, I felt very interested because I was like,
And I bet
whoa.
you picked up that sense of like, this ain't right.
Yeah, I was like, I felt mad.
Right.
Like I was like mad, but like also like, wait, I gotta tell everybody about this.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's literally the
That's
feeling
how
I
you
had
felt?
that made me like, I went to YouTube, I started a channel.
Yeah.
I started to like, I was like, young
No, her
people are
channel's
on here.
popping too. She has like 20K followers on
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of her videos are how-to videos, so you can almost like do like a search, like if you just want to know. We just talked about utilization for like 5 minutes,
Yep.
but if you want to know more about that, you can go to her utilization video,
And then I break it down extensively.
and she breaks it down completely. So
Yeah.
like a lot of people have been liking, and it's just straight to camera, like talking videos, but you learn so much.
Yeah,
from
it's
them.
nothing fancy, y'all. It's me on my iPhone. But I think the point is that people want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Once you learn about this injustice, you get fired up and you realize, oh, I want to learn this. And so that's how I felt. And I was like, you know, coming from the hood, I feel like that's the last place that people want to go to help. And being that I'm from there, it only felt right for me to try to come back there and tell people, like, they've been telling us the wrong information. Like, the savings account is just for, like, your emergency fund. But then if you got extra, investing, like, you got to be investing in.
Yeah.
And so that's why I started to try to get young people. I started doing the YouTube. I started to, like, do, I do workshops at high schools throughout Brooklyn and Harlem. I mean, all throughout New York City and Jersey as well. I did a couple high schools in New York.
We're gonna touch base on that too.
So yeah, just talking to the youth, like they need, the younger you know this stuff, the earlier you can start, and
Yeah.
the more interest you will grow over time. Like you'll earn over time. So that's the key to it. You gotta start early because we can tell 30 and 40-year-olds all we want, but they've missed out on all their 20s
That's
to
true.
get interest. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's also important to realize that if you are watching this and you are in your 30s and 40s, then it's important
never
to
too
say,
late.
yeah, you have to
It
start.
is never too late.
You always
It's
have to
just
start.
that the earlier you start,
Yeah.
the better because you'll be earning interest for more time,
Exactly.
especially compounding interest. But it is never too late to start. Just think about it as every day that you don't do it, you're missing the opportunity to compound interest that you could have been earning. So
What are your tips on saving? So, like, because I just saw somebody just recently said, hey, I stopped, like, going out to eat, and I stopped doing all those things. Like, and you mentioned, like, kind of or not drinking as much alcohol out while I'm out or whatever, because alcohol is really expensive.
Right.
But like, what were your things that you did? Like, did you automate it? How did you get that popping?
So I started to automate. Everything. I was like, okay, how much money do I need to spend to buy food for the week? That was an automatic number. I never spent more than that. Like at that time, I was budgeting. I would meal prep. I would plan all my meals, and I stopped buying lunch every day. Like if you work in Manhattan, if you work in New York City, like lunch is $20 a day. So now you're spending $20 times 5, so $100 just on lunch. Now you also have to make dinner and think about dinner. And if you're a breakfast person or you like coffee, all those things add up. So we're talking about hundreds of dollars a week where you could cut that in half and invest the rest or save the rest or put it towards debt. So yeah, meal prepping was huge. I cut a lot of money on food. The alcohol thing was huge. I stopped shopping for clothes as much. Like, I don't know about you guys. I was obsessed. I was a shopaholic. Like literally, I would go to H&M and like Forever 21 and just be like, oh, but it was on sale. Oh, but it was on sale. And I would just like buy stuff and I was shopping all the time. And I'm like, why?
So you have to address things like that.
I had to be real with myself. And and actually I put up a video about this because this girl wrote to me and was like, how do you stop wasting money when you're so in such bad habits of doing it that you don't even realize? So this is my quick tip. Do not leave the house with money. If for an emergency, maybe like $5 or $10 cash on you, that's it. The credit cards, the debit cards, everything stays at home.
Oh,
and when you are out, you're gonna walk, because this is what I did. I walked into the Dwayne. I started picking up like candles. I picked up some Febreze, like some random stuff, and then I was in line to pay, and I put the stuff on the counter and was like, oh shit. I only got $10. I left everything, and I was like, oh, you know what? I felt dumb, and I walked out, but it was a reminder that I needed. Like, why are you doing this? You committed to not spend, so why are you picking up these trinkets and crap you don't need? Like, it was just like, I was like, damn. So that, like, leave your stuff at home, do not, and then it'll force you to do, like, a no-spend challenge.
For sure.
So, yeah.
I started to learn about finance 2 years in other college once I got to it. Oh, right. Okay, so somebody just mentioned, what would you tell people who want to invest but are in a company where they don't offer, for example, a 401k? That's actually a really good, that's a great question.
That's actually a great segue, because we were going to talk about investing.
Yeah.
So I think if you're in debt, right, your first thing is to get out of debt and then put extra money towards investing. But if you're at a job that offers your 401k, that's a great way to start investing, right? Because it takes it out of your paycheck pre-tax, and you don't even feel it, because by the time you get your check, it's already been, money has already been invested for you in your retirement.
Okay, can you describe? Hold on. Can you describe what a 401k is first?
Yeah. So basically, your job is going to create an account for you that invests in the stock market, and they are going to control which stocks, how much of your money is going to be divvied up to each stock, or if it's a fund, or what exactly it is. Right. They have all the control. But what you do control is how much do you want to put of your salary into that. So your job might say, we will, you can put up to 5% of your salary of your income for the year into this 401k, and then we will invest that for you. So every $100 you earn, you keep 95, and they take 5 and put it in the investment account in the 401k. Okay. And so you don't have to pay taxes on those $5 because it comes out before they tax your paycheck.
And by the time you get to what age?
By the time you're 59 and a half, 59.5, that's the age you can actually take it out. Okay. And then you do have to pay taxes because you can't avoid taxes, but you won't have any penalty fees. If you take it out before 59 and a half, they're gonna,
it's a penalty. It's a steep penalty.
It's a big penalty. Yeah. So you don't want to do that. It can be 10 to 30%. So you really don't want. Okay. Chunk of your money.
What's your alternative if you can't do a 401k?
So if you can't do that, you should do it individually. And so an IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. You should open an IRA. And there's a lot of different companies that you can open an IRA with, a lot of brokerage firms, a lot of
What is IRA stand for again?
Individual Retirement Account. So think of it as, my job doesn't offer me a retirement account, 401k, I'm going to individually do my own retirement account. So individual retirement account. Right. And so basically you would create the account with a provider, and then you would say, all right, I want to put $100 every month, or I want to put, however much you can put. And I recommend not sticking with a dollar number, and I was telling you this. Yes. Focus on a percentage. If your income doesn't matter what your income is, if you commit to 5%, then, Delina could be making $300,000, I could be making $30,000, but we're both contributing 5% because it's what we can afford from what we make. So pick a percent. All the personal finance gurus and books, they recommend 10%. But if you can't do that much, start with 3%, 5%. Start with what you can. And you can just calculate, pull out your calculator, Google 3% of $50,000, find out what it is out of your salary. And if you're comfortable with that amount over the year, then you would divide it by 12 for each month and put that much every month. It might be $120, it might be $55, whatever it is for you. and then you can link your bank account to the individual retirement account, which is the IRA, and then it will every month will automatically transfer that amount of money into your IRA. And
so which companies do you recommend? Somebody was asking, which companies do you recommend to use for that?
So I'm a really big avid supporter of robo-advising. Robo-advising means that you do not go to a person and say, hey, you're an expert, help me create an account and then invest it for me, and then you get a fee.
Yeah.
Like, that's
that's why I called her like a financial expert and not a financial planner.
Right.
She's not somebody you can hire to like invest with or something like that. She's more of like an education expert. Right. Yeah, exactly about it. Which I think is really cool too, because it also took a lot of pressure off of this conversation.
Like, I'm not
because
it's
not
like
like she's not getting you to join anything at the end of this. This is just
like honestly,
free information.
I'm trying to convince you not to buy products.
You do it yourself. I'm gonna give you the tools that you need to learn, and like that's why we're here.
Yes.
So tell me about robo-advising.
Yeah, so robo-advising means we're going to eliminate this human being who has to put in the work and get a cut of your profits so that you can maximize your return. If you get a 5% profit, why should you give 2% to this person and only keep 3%? You should keep all 5% or as much of that 5% as possible. So most financial advisors would charge like 2 to 3%, but robo-advisors charge less than like 0.5%. Like they charge like
when she said that to me, I was like, wait, what?
Right.
I was like, hold on, because I don't know if you all have had meetings with financial advisors, because I definitely have had recently with an advisor, and they were like, and I was like, how do you get paid? And they would just not tell you how they get paid. They never tell you how they get paid. They're like, oh, I get paid by referrals.
Right.
And you're like,
that's a lot of referrals to cover your whole salary.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So when she said you can handle your own investments, and instead of it being that 5% that a financial planner would be taking, it's a
2 to 3%.
Okay, then it's going to be like a point.
It's going to be
2.5 to 0.5.
So let's think about it. Like let's say you just made $100.
Big difference.
The financial advisor, let's say it's profit. You made $100 profit on your investment. The financial advisor would typically take 2 to 3 of those dollars, and you only get to keep $97 or $98. Whereas with robo-advising, they only take 25 cents. So talking about dividing it by like 8, right? And only taking
that's major
25 cents. So you get to keep $99.75 out of your 100. Almost all of it is yours. And the way they can do that is because they eliminated that person's job, and they have algorithms and apps and technology that will do it for us.
Right.
The way the times are changing, technology can do a lot of it, and it's sad. I know a lot of people are like against that because humans are losing their jobs, but they can get jobs at a lot of these companies anyway, because a lot of these companies need representatives to answer questions when people call, or to chat them when they need help anyway. So there's still people there, but not doing the mathematical calculations and the stock projections, more so doing customer service.
So you mentioned 2 apps that you liked.
The 2 that I really like, and I talk about them on my channel, I use them both, is the first one is Betterment, and I always push Betterment because 2 things. Like, one, the guy who created it went to Brown University, so I gotta plug my alma mater. I gotta plug that.
Okay, Brown.
But also, like, it's a social good company. So, like, yes, they do profit, but a lot of what they're doing is actually really trying to help. It's trying to help people to learn about investing. And the app is really user-friendly. You can pull up charts. You can pull up graphs. I mean, I showed you mine.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you can learn any. If you want to know which company your money's being invested in, just scroll down, click it, and you'll see every single company, the field, like how much of your money is going to that. Like, it's so much information. Like, nobody should be clueless. And actually, the other day I was meeting with my friend, and she was like showing me she logged into her mom's, and she was like, can you tell me how my mom's like retirement is set up? Look at this. And I could not find. I was clicking around for like 5 whole minutes, and I couldn't find the companies. I'm like, how do I not know? How can I find which companies her money's going towards?
Yeah.
Which is terrible. And that's most, services. So
for sure.
The app is really easy to use, and it's a super small fee. And then the other one is Wealthfront. Wealthfront is like they're both like head to head, like they're directly competitors. But Wealthfront is you have to have a minimum of $500 to invest with them, whereas Betterment there's no minimum. You can start with any amount of money.
Dope.
So yeah,
amazing. Okay, so all right, cool. So now you've got your investment set up. You've got your like Roth IRA, or you've got your 401k. You've got your credit cards paid off. Now it's time to talk about investing. So what does that look like when you were first trying to figure out the stock market? Because when I first heard about the stock market, I was like, whoa.
It's just like so much.
It's just so much. It's so big. Like, what is it? What's happening? So like, what did you do? Like, how did you
Yeah.
Like, did you just Google, like, what is the stock market?
So
what was your first Google on that? What is this? What should I invest in?
That's fine. Do it. But
side note, real quick. Yeah. Is there interest with an IRA?
What an IRA does is it allows you to create a portfolio that is going to pick and choose from the stock market different things that you like, and it's going to put it in a basket, which is going to be that account, that IRA.
Yeah.
And then from there, whatever the return is going to be on average for all the companies that you picked in that account, you're going to be guaranteed the average. So that's why it's not like a certain percent. It's like, how is the stock market doing? If it's doing really well, which is every time you invest in the stock market, no matter if it's retirement, no matter if it's a general taxable investment account, if it's you just doing this for fun, with extra money, it doesn't matter. If the stock market is performing well, you will get more return, more profit. If it's not doing well, you will get less return. And there's always a chance that you can lose money, which is why so many people, especially people in the hood and people of color, are afraid of the stock market. But I honestly think the big thing that you need to do is understand the difference between long-term investing and short-term investing, which we also talked about. We talked about that a lot.
One point. Okay, it's Wealthfront. It's Wealth, WEALTH front.
Yeah.
FRONT. Yeah, thank you so much for writing that. I appreciate it.
Yes, and I recommend them both. They're great.
Yeah, and Betterment.
And Wealthfront. They're both great. Both of them.
Okay, cool. So, all right, so you're about to jump in.
So we talked about this a little bit. So in order to understand the stock market, you have to understand that this is essentially, in some ways, a lot of people consider it gambling. The reason why is because there are thousands of companies. And what you're doing when you go into the stock market is saying, I'm going to pick the companies somehow, either by guessing or by researching.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the ones that are going to bring a lot of money into their company.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out what's going to be the next Amazon, what's going to be the next Twitter, Facebook, what companies are going to do well. And you might pick a company that you thought was going to do well, and it actually falls apart and loses all its money. So that's why it's risky. That's the gambling piece of it. But the way that you minimize that risk is by not picking individual companies. There's thousands of them. So if you invest in the entire stock market, and the way to do that is by investing in a fund. A fund basically means there's not just one stock. There's a bunch of stocks in there. And the fund that most people will recommend is the Vanguard Index Fund called VTSAX, because it's the total U.S. stock market. So every single company in the stock market will be in that fund. So let's say you invest $1,000 and there's 1,000 companies. A dollar is going to go from your $1,000, $1 in each company. Some will do really well and you'll get, you double your dollar. Now you get $2. Some will triple your dollar. You get $3. Some are going to fail completely and you lose your dollar. But with the ones that fail, the ones that are doing really well will make up for it. And so you'll be guaranteed the average of all those companies. So that's why index funds, mutual funds, things like that are popular. But the big difference with the mutual fund is that there's, again, that manager, that mutual fund manager has to get paid because that person is picking the companies that go in that fund. Okay. With an index fund, you don't do that. The index is like a category. So you can be like, I want the 100 best technology companies. Boop, 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 boop. The computer will pull the algorithm. Here's a list of 100 companies.
And then you would just invest in those. So you don't have to necessarily invest in just that specific index. You can say, I want to invest in the top technology companies, or I want to invest in the top, whatever,
there's
chemical
index,
companies.
There's an index for everything.
That's really cool.
So if the index doesn't exist, you can create it.
All right, somebody just asked an interesting question. Can you explain the difference between ETFs and mutual funds?
Yes. So basically, mutual funds, the stock market trading floor opens and closes every day, just like your job. Like when you go to work, it's open. When you close,
when you leave, that's it. I'm gone. Goodbye.
The stock market closes. People go home. Right. Yeah. So with a mutual fund and with an index fund, essentially that's what happens is the trades that happen, if something's doing really poorly and you want to get rid of it, or if you want to buy more of it so that when it does better, you can get more, return from it. You can only do those trades during the time that the trading floor is open, the time the stock market's open. With an exchange traded fund, you're allowed to trade all throughout those hours, whereas with a mutual fund or an index fund, you can only trade once, and that time is at the end when the trading floor closes, when the stock exchange closes.
So the amount that it is when it closes is what you
That's what you trade at. So people are constantly watching because they know they can only trade once at the price that it closes. So they're like, it's kind of like people go crazy. It's like maniacs are like constantly like.
So is that like more like gambling?
It can be, depending on if you're picking individual companies and trying to guess what the price is going to be.
Okay.
Whereas with an exchange traded fund, you are allowed to trade as many times throughout the day. If it's just only getting higher and higher and higher, maybe you want to keep selling. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily do that. But with ETFs, you are allowed to trade your entire fund. You're allowed to sell and buy your entire fund multiple times. Okay. So this doesn't matter for people like you and me. We're not going to do those individual moves. We're just going to put money into an account. This is what I recommend. You put your money into an account and you don't look at it. You don't worry about it. It could be an ETF, it could be an index fund, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's going to grow slowly over time. And when you need that money in 10 years, in 20 years, it's going to nearly double compared to a savings account, which takes, maybe like 70 years for it to double. So, or more. So the point is to double your money in a tenth of the time.
Okay. So let's just back up really quick. So if you're wanting to invest your money into the stock market, what is the first thing that you would do?
So you would decide where you want to invest in it, or which company do you trust the most. And I would just like Google the difference between Betterment and Wealthfront. Like now Wealthfront needs $500. I just want to invest $100. All right, so I'm going to go with Betterment. Like decide where your factors are to make the choice. Okay. Once you make your choice, open the account. You're going to take a quick quiz, like BuzzFeed. Like, you're going to take a quiz, you're going to answer some questions, and they're going to be like, you're a risky investor, or you're a conservative investor. Here's a portfolio that we recommend.
You like these kind of shoes.
Right. Like, you're this Disney princess. Like, okay,
Okay, cool.
Like, it's just going to tell you. Like, it's just going to do it for you, which is really nice. Once it does it, if you know enough about it, you can be like, actually, I disagree. I don't think I'm Belle. I think I'm Ariel. Like, I might want to change how I am. I'm a different type of investor.
I'm the frog princess, okay?
Right. It's just like, hello.
Don't put me in a box.
And then, so if that's you, then you just scroll. Like, you can be more risky or less risky. And in the language of more risky, less risky basically means more risky means more stocks in your portfolio. Your portfolio just means what do you have going on with your money? Is 50% of it in stocks and 50% of it in bonds? That's your portfolio. Like, that means that's how you're splitting up your money. So with a portfolio that has a lot of money in stocks, it's very risky. The portfolio that has a lot of money in bonds, it's very conservative because bonds are more secure and they offer a lot less return, but they're stable. So say they said they're going to return 2% in 3 years, it's guaranteed. In 3 years, you're going to get 2% return. Whereas with the stock market, going up and down, up and down. You just, you're waiting 10, 20 years to see how much it doubles or triples, but you're not guaranteed anything.
And what was the name of that investor who's like, his advice is just, you just buy it
Warren
and you
Buffett.
Just,
He's the most famous. He says his favorite holding period, which is like buy these stocks, hold them for a lifetime. Like he literally is like, people just hold it and just chill. Like if you look at, like if you Google stock market performance from 1925, 1930 to today, 2018, you will see, yes, there's a lot of squigglies, but the general trend, if you were to just to connect the dots, would be a line from down here to up here, because it always goes up over time. So that's what you got to focus on, is the 20 years, the 30 years, 10 years, not focus on next month. Can I put my money out and go to Miami Beach? Like, no, this is not, that's what your savings account is for. That's not what this is about. So
you're not pulling out your IRA so you can go to Miami.
Go down.
That would literally be crazy.
Yeah, like, don't, that's wild. Like, you have to focus on the fact that the reason why that's there is for your retirement. You're not trying to be wretched now. You're trying to be wretched at retirement.
Yes, you're trying to be ratchet, chilling. And this is also really good for somebody who wants to do early retirement, which is what we were talking about earlier. So, okay, like, really quickly, I want her to tell you about, she's about to go to Brazil. Oh, no, you're going to Barcelona. Girl, why did you go to Brazil?
I don't know. I wish I was going to Brazil.
Okay, she's going to Barcelona. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, is Guyan coming to meet you after?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, she might.
That's my sister's mutual friend. That's how we know each other.
Friend.
Okay. So, all right, cool. So you're going to Barcelona. You're going to be there for a month.
A month.
Which is like, I don't know if anybody's ever read 4-Hour Workweek from Tim Ferriss, but he's like one of my favorite people to follow. And one of the things, one of his ideas within that book is just to talk about how you can basically take long, extended vacations, and they can be called like mini retirements, basically. So, what that means is, like, you don't want to necessarily wait until you're like 50 or 60 years old before you can actually enjoy yourself, and like, you don't want to, you want to be young on the beach.
And honestly, like, if you wait all those years, by the time you're so, like, you're burnt out.
You're burnt out. You're tired. You might not even want to travel. Like, my dad now, when I call my dad, I'm like, Dad, you going on vacation? He's like, why? For what? Where am I going?
I got to pack my bag.
Yeah, he's like, I like where I live. And it's just like, have you always been like this, brother? Like, what's good?
He wasn't.
Yeah,
but he
became like that.
He lived a long life. He wanted to relax.
His relaxing is like painting the house.
You know, like, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be a different person at that point. So if you want to enjoy the person you are now, you want to take little breaks. And so it's kind of like, think about it like if you're at work all day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then you go to a happy hour, you might cancel because you're so tired.
Yes.
Versus if you take a break at lunchtime and
go
have a drink and come back, that's the
little
course of your life. Right.
Little midday nap.
Right. So that's, and so for me, granted, like 30 days is definitely, it's like a baby retirement, not even a mini retirement, it's like a baby, but this is me testing this idea.
Yeah.
And like, obviously later in life, I want to implement the actual idea of taking like a year to travel, to do whatever.
I love
like
that.
Maybe 2 years, whatever.
But that's also a mini retirement. You see what I mean? So it's like you go based off of like how much time that you have to actually do it. And one of the things I asked her is I was like, wait, so you're still saving in this time? She's like, girl, yeah, of course. Like that never stops. She was like, that's still going to be automated. Yep. So when somebody asked earlier, like, how long do you have, like, or how much should you be investing? And that goes back to what Yaneli was saying earlier. It's a percentage. So you got to decide a percentage that you're comfortable with, and then over time you want to get to a place where what's the ideal percentage? So
the bare minimum that they recommend is 10%.
10%.
If you can't do it, obviously fine. Do what you can. But for me, if you want to be aggressive like me, like I'm aggressive, I save 25 to 50%. So like every paycheck that I get,
trying to retire, y'all.
I'm done. You know, like, cause the thing is, I like working, but I want to work for myself. I want to do what I want to do.
Yes.
And sometimes the work that I love doesn't pay. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I go to these high schools, and these schools are in the hood. They don't have the budget. You know what I'm saying? And they won't be able to cover. The principal would straight look at me and be like, "Babe, I want you here, and I want these kids to hear you, but I can't pay. It's not in my budget. We're struggling to keep our funding." And I'm like, you know what? That's real. I'm still going to talk to the kids because they need to hear me. And so, in order for me to be able to do that and not collect a fee, I gotta have bread stacked. I can't afford to work for free unless I can afford it.
I love that. Yeah, and it did say 4-Hour Work Week earlier, and that is by Timothy Ferriss, so that is correct. So thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a great book.
So okay, you mentioned earlier about that this is something that you've done for a while. Like, how many years have you been working on this?
So I started getting debt free in 2014, seriously, because in 2013 I started little by little, but then I would stop and go, and get some sushi and wine and just be like, I'm taking a break. I've been working hard. But in 2014, I literally was like, no. Literally, I'm living so cheap, so frugal, and I'm just, every penny that's not food or rent is going to this plan. So by 2016, I was debt free, and from 2016 to now, it's half of every paycheck is getting half to savings, so 25% to my savings account, and 25% to my investments.
Okay.
And that includes retirement.
That is
and
aggressive.
General. Yeah, so I'm being very aggressive. Lately, I'm like slowly cutting back because I'm like, I'm about to take this trip, I'm about to be interested, so things like that. But then I always go work my way back up. When I showed you my account, it was like, oh, here I stopped a little bit because it was my birthday, it was 4th of July, little things. But then it goes back up, and I always just go back to like 50%.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just pretty much how I set it up. Like this chunk goes to my savings account automatically when my paycheck comes in. This chunk goes automatically into my Roth IRA, and it automatically when I get my paycheck, and then I pay my rent, I pay my bills, and then the rest, I decide, okay, if I have extra money, usually I don't, because like my investments take so much. I'll be like, damn, I'm poor, but I know I have the money over there growing, so I'm full.
She's like, ah. So no, that's so. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so but when we were talking earlier, I'm not sure if we mentioned. So Yaneli, one of the things that she has had the opportunity to do is she's been working with high schools in the New York City area. So she's designed a curriculum that has helped these children, like teens.
Yeah.
How old are they?
Yeah, like anywhere from 14, usually 14, 15 to 18.
Okay, so 14, 15 to 18, and you're creating, so basically high school students,
right? And
you're creating a curriculum for them.
Yeah, like a couple lessons, like it's just a couple lessons.
Okay.
Where I've done, usually it's like PowerPoint style.
Different schools.
Okay. I'll come and I have like a couple of different like topics, and then I'll let the principal or the teacher tell me which topics they want me to cover, and then I'll just pick and choose those topics, have a couple slides, and then I share my
Is
story.
this in one class in an auditorium?
It's a combination of all of that. Sometimes they can only do it, I have to do like 2 or 3 times in a row because they can't, the bell schedule, I have to go to different classes, but other times they'll bring all the seniors and juniors into the auditorium, and I'll do like a general assembly. Like I feel like I got my own little TED talk when I'm on the stage.
That's amazing.
Hundreds of y'all, like, but it's
you
great.
Should have a TEDx talk. Or TED Talk.
That's coming soon.
I would love that. I think that you're such a dynamic and you're so passionate about it. And
man, but people need to know that.
See, people need to know. She feels about saving how I feel about makeup.
Yes.
I'm like, people need to know how to do a wing liner.
Right. Like people walk by you in the street and you're like, ooh girl, that wing liner. And then girls walk by me in the street and I'm like, ooh girl, why are you spending money on those nails? I bet you your savings account ain't where it's supposed to be. So it's like I just feel, I want to help you, girl.
Yeah, no, for sure. I 100% feel you. So this is what she did. So after she'd been doing that for like a year, just recently she was like, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do like she just wanted to do some branding like conversations. And then what happened? That guy called you.
So through that,
this is literally like manifesting your dream,
right? And that's the thing, because like honestly, when we had we ate after we went to the workout, we just like started chatting.
Yeah, and
at that point, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna quit.
Yeah,
and you can talk about this because that's a terrible mistake. But I was supposed to do. Like I didn't have a plan really. I was just like, girl, I'm gonna just grow my brand. She's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna grow my brand. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, so what's happening? What do your clients look like? She's like, girl, I'm gonna just figure it out. We just gonna be out here. I got a few, but and I was like, okay.
I was just like, I don't know, girl, but we gonna figure it out. You figured it out.
Yeah.
You my hashtag girl.
I was like, I feel it. Okay.
Literally what that was. But so you're going to talk to that in a second. But basically, when I had that in mind, I was like, I've saved up. I had like probably 6 to 8 months of savings at that time of rent, food, transportation, like enough to cover me that I didn't have to work for 6 to 8 months. That's okay, but like
that's good.
It depends on like what kind of work you're doing. Because if you have clients and stuff, it's different from I ain't had nothing. I just have a little YouTube channel that's bringing me anywhere from $300 to $600 a month.
Okay,
depends on the views and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing, but
I love how open you are about money too. Oh yeah, that's something I really enjoy because you're not like, this is what you should do. You're like, but this is what's going on with my business and this is what's going on with my savings and my investments, and I feel like that immediately helps other people open up, and they're like, oh,
because it's so taboo that like saying specific numbers and percentages that people get like, oh, but I shouldn't say how much I'm, and it's just like, no, let's just say this because A, it won't be taboo, and B, people will get the clarity that they need, so they do this the right way,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was doing that. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just not work. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna talk to people, see how I can grow my brand. And then I was still doing on Fridays. I was doing these high school workshops through this nonprofit. So the founder of that nonprofit, he hired me to do these talks. And so he was paying me because the schools can't. I was just talking about how the schools can't afford to pay me.
They can't afford it.
His nonprofit was paying for it, so that I could still go to these schools, which is amazing. And that nonprofit is called ngpf.org. It's amazing. So basically, they reached out to me after these workshops happened. They were like, these teachers and these kids all rated you really highly on your presentations. Like, this is great. We want you to like come on board full time if you're willing. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't think this was gonna be like a full time thing. I'm not trying to do that. I'm gonna grow my brand.
Isn't that cool? That was so cool. No, but the best part is literally she was like, you can't buy me.
I was like,
right?
No. I was like, no. See, I'm trying to grow my MissBeHelpful brand. Like, I made this.
And her YouTube channel, somebody asked me earlier, is MissBeHelpful. That's why I'm tagging.
Yeah, it's the same thing as my Instagram handle. And I was like, I grew this from nothing. Yeah. This is my baby. Like, I'm not just gonna desert my baby and go work for you.
Yeah.
And so I said no, y'all. I straight up said no. And then he was like, listen, I respect your decision. However, I politely want to like push back because I think that you're so amazing what you can do under our umbrella, the resources that we have, the curriculum that they already had in place. They had a lot of teachers already that use them, and he was like, we could help each other more than you think. Let's talk. And so then I was like, all right, I opened up to the conversation.
She's like, okay, yeah, let's, maybe I can do a little something.
Let me hear you out.
Yeah.
Let me hear. But I was already decided on no, y'all. Like, I was already like, no, I'm doing my own thing. I'm an entrepreneur already. But then he told me, he was like, this is all the stuff that we could do together. And I was like, oh yeah, this is way more than I was going to be able to do alone.
Right.
And his connections, his resources, he's amazing himself. So I was just like, I think you'd be really great, like a dope boss and a mentor and stuff. So like, but the thing is, I was trying to do this on my own. So, my price is kind of high. He was like, just name what salary you want and I'll give it to you. And I was like,
she's like, wait!
So we want a lot of money.
Make it right!
And that's like an amazing feeling. When you build your skill set to a point where people
are like, yo, what you want? I got you.
Crazy.
I was so hyped off of that. I was like, yo, that's how you know. Like, you're just like, oh. Like, if you're willing to pay me whatever salary, like, imagine.
That means
you're worth so much.
That's my shit.
You're like, whoa.
I knew it before, but now I really go.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I like that she had a plan, and she said, okay, I'm going to commit to this for a year.
Yeah.
So she's going to be working with the New York school system.
New York City. That's what you
New York,
said.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
New York, sorry,
New
New
York.
York, not New York State, New York City.
Yeah.
School system, and you're going to be designing a curriculum?
Yeah, he already has a designed curriculum, so
Okay.
basically I'm going to be using his resources to go to schools and like get kids to play, like learn how to invest on like a game, like learn how to pay for college, like what does all the fees and costs look like? Like they're going to play a game and click selected like little animated characters will have to make choices, and they'll have to write for teens. And so do that. And then also my story, like hopefully they'll all be like, oh, this is like lit. Like we were learning this from worksheets and textbooks that we're connecting to. So
I love
hopefully
that.
we're changing how they're learning it, if they're learning it at all, y'all. Because honestly, most of these schools aren't teaching it. So our goal is to bring it to schools that don't have it. So so the kids can actually hear
That's
this.
really cool. What is the title of that type of position? What is that?
So for me, it's Director of Personal Finance. So essentially, like personal finance is
Okay.
director now. y'all.
Director of Personal Finance. Okay.
So I'm just essentially like, one of the directors that's pushing the personal finance content into schools. And my focus is New York City because his company has done really well out west, like California school district. A lot of them are using it in Texas and Utah. But these are schools where the schools are already teaching personal finance. And he's really trying to get into urban areas because that's where they're not teaching it. And that's where they need it the most.
Yeah.
Hello. So that's why he was like, "You'd be great for this because you're from the community. Nobody's gonna do this better than you." And I was like, "You're right."
Yeah.
So yeah,
you're right. Yeah. So I love that story because I think it's really important to talk about like manifesting your dreams and one of the things that we said we were going to talk about tonight is talking about like entrepreneurship as well. So I think when I personally decided that I was going to make the move and start working and being my own boss, one of the things I had to look at is like what do I actually like have together. Part of it is faith. I'm not going to lie to you. If you decide you want to do this, it's definitely a faith-based journey for sure. Because you have to get to a place where you're comfortable with yourself and you know that you're willing to do the work, but also that you're being able to put your faith into knowing that things are going to work out.
It's hard.
It's hard. It is. It's hard. It's hard. Like the leap of faith. I think I posted something the other day. It's like something about a leap of faith. Like if you don't leap when you're uncomfortable, then you're just gonna stay there forever.
Right. Then you're really
because you're always uncomfortable.
Right. So you have to jump when you're uncomfortable because then you're gonna stay uncomfortable if you don't jump.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
And I thought that was great.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, oh, that's true. Dropping gems.
Right. Like so true.
So wait, I'm not in high school, but I'm interested in playing this game, you guys. So yeah, publish your game.
Oh man,
it might be like a new candy. It might be a new Candy Crush.
Damn, I forgot the link for it, but I'll figure it out and then we'll share it later, like on a post.
Okay.
Anybody can play it.
Okay. It's a game. It's an actual game.
There's multiple games, but it's targeted to teens. But I'll get the links and then we'll put them on a post or something.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I wanted to talk about a couple things that I think you need to have. So of course. She mentioned it before when she was ready to quit her job. So first of all, you have to have a skill set. Like obviously you can tell Yaneli very much knows exactly what she's talking about, and she knows like she's very in tune with what she knows. Like she's very confident about it. So you want to get to a place where you're personally confident about what it is that you're offering. So let's say that for me, it's a service-based business of what I'm offering. So when I'm offering a makeup service, I need to feel confident that, number one, I have a full kit of makeup that I can go to somebody's place and I can actually do their makeup. Right? Like, I don't need any coaching for that. I already know how to do that. That's super, super, super important. And when I get there, I know that I can deliver something that they're going to be happy with and I'm going to be proud of. So those things are very, very, very important before you actually quit your job. If you're starting a product, you don't want to quit your job and then start the manufacturing process. You want to have the product already rolling. So what happens is you want to get to a place where you are burning the candle at both ends, a lot of people say, where it's like, the idea is basically you have a wick through the candle and you're burning it. Yeah, you meet in the middle. So you're going to be working your day job for a while, and then you are also going to be working your business for a while. And that is a very, 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 like important. You have to do that.
You have to be willing to do that.
A lot of people want to skip that part, and it's very interesting because you'll see people that be like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna just quit my job.
Done, right?
Yeah, and you're just like, wait, but your skill set's not developed yet.
See, I I didn't have.
You have the skill set.
Right, but you know why? Because I was willing to do that.
Yeah.
I was working, and then at night I would come home and turn on my phone and record videos and post them on YouTube. Like that was, I wanted to go home and just chill and have a drink and like chill with my boyfriend. But I was like, nah, I'm posting these videos every week, like, and I was responding to comments and emailing people. So I was growing something, even though I didn't really know I was. It was kind of a hobby, but then it became work. Yeah. But I was willing to do that while working a full-time job, and I did that for. I'm still doing it. I just stopped doing that on Fridays. So,
exactly. And it's funny actually. The other day I was out with some friends of mine, and this girl came to me. She's like, "Yeah, girl, I just want to like quit my job, and I'm actually gonna quit next week." And I was like, "Okay, well, what are you gonna work on?" She's like, "Well, I want to be a writer." And I was like, "Okay, well, have you written anything yet?" She's like, "Nah, girl, I haven't written nothing yet." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Hold on, wait a second, pull it back. Like, don't do that yet."
I'm literally like making the little emoji with the big old.
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm just like, wait, like. You don't have anything yet that you can sell, right? God. So, in order to be able to sell something, you have to have something to sell. So she has a skill that she can sell, right? I have a skill that I can sell. Then you have to look at how long it's going to take for you to move the product. So, for me as a makeup artist, I literally yesterday got a call at 5 o'clock for a job at 6 a.m. in the morning. Woo! 5 p.m. the day before, right? But for a job at 6 a.m. the next morning. That's how quickly I can make money, right? It's a little different when you're selling a product. It's a little different when you're selling like a service like what you're selling. Yours is a long-term, like yours might be a little bit of a longer sell, right? You have to court them. You have to go and have a meeting with them. They have to see if they like what you're doing. Like how long is that actually going to take? Katie, wait, I'm not sure I understand your question. Want to be or... Okay, that's my friend Katie. So I'm like, Katie, what's that mean, girl?
Like, how you know
Katie's hey, Katie. So you want to know exactly how long the term of what it is that you're selling. That's really, really important as well. Yeah. So that way you know kind of like how far out you need to be.
Right. And you can set up yourself, like you can set the right expectation for yourself. Because a lot of times people will envision it happening one way so fast. Yeah. When really it won't be that way. Or you envision it happening where you have a lot of time to prep and then you get a call for a job the next day and you're like, shit, I have no time.
Right.
So you have to get that so you know accurately, not your projections are off. Like,
exactly.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So important,
right? And the thing is this, like, no, I don't think you were. To be honest, I think you were a lot closer than you think.
Good.
In my opinion, because you already had a few clients, right? You weren't like completely like it's not like you were just starting from nothing, and you had people who were already interested, and you had already established a brand. Yeah. So those are very important things that you had already did. Yeah, for sure. So I feel like you were very, very safe. Wanted to be a writer, or are you are a writer? I got it. No, it's so funny. Oh gosh. Okay, wait. We only have 2 minutes left on this, so we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna save this, and then we're gonna jump into another live, just because I feel like we have a little bit more to say. Hey, Cassie, I'll see you in like 5 seconds.